tell you guys, though, that I am so excited to be doing the podcast again. For anybody that was a listener prior, we took a pretty long hiatus, and I'm just excited to get back at it and discuss fun movies with my daughters. So much so that I feel like I was like a kid on Christmas Eve last night when I went to bed and I couldn't sleep. Is it time to get on the podcast yet? So we're
Yay.
very excited to be back.
Yes. And I've got my Christmas pajamas on. They're my favorite ones. So
Oh, nice.
That was a great idea.
5 a.m. here in the Pacific Northwest. So I have my pajamas on and yesterday's makeup, and that's okay.
Yep. Nobody's here for our makeup skills. And
No.
It's a podcast, so nobody can see us anyways. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
There are no makeup skills at 4:30 in the morning. It's not a thing.
Nope. I'm lucky I got coffee.
Yeah. Welcome to Love on the Pod, a podcast about all the cheesy romantic TV movies we adore. I'm Jessica.
I'm Sherry.
And I'm Danny.
And today we're discussing Family Practice Mysteries Coming Home, which aired on Hallmark Mysteries. So I'm going to give you guys a little rundown of a few fun facts about the movie, and then we can get into chatting all about it. So a former Army surgeon moves back to her hometown and joins a practice of family doctors. But when she's drawn into solving the mysterious death of a patient, her quiet life becomes upended. This movie was released on May 17th of 2024, so not too long ago. It stars Amanda Schull, who I know from Suits. Did you guys ever watch Suits?
No, I didn't realize she was in Suits.
Yes, she's great in it. Wonderful. It's a fantastic show. Highly recommend it if you have time
She
to start.
did have a recurring role on Pretty Little Liars as well.
Yes. Yeah, you might know her from Pretty Little Liars or One Tree Hill.
Who did she play in Pretty Little Liars?
I don't remember. It wasn't a main character. I just remember seeing her.
That.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you. I stopped watching Pretty Little Liars after like the second season, I think.
It got really ridiculous.
Yeah, we watched it faithfully all the way through. I remember that.
Yep.
I know her from The Blessing Bracelet, another Hallmark movie that I adore. But I don't remember her in those other shows. Now I kind of want to go back and check it out.
Yeah. The movie is also starring Brendan Penny, who is all over Hallmark all the time, but also had roles in John Tucker Must Die and I Love You, Beth Cooper. And some of his Hallmark movies are in Merry Measure, Time for Them to Come Home for Christmas, and he was one of the main characters on Chesapeake Shores.
He's also in The Wedding Cottage with Aaron Krakow. Oh my gosh, it's so good. If you haven't seen it.
I have not seen that one. No.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Well, and Amanda Schull was a professional ballet dancer with the San Francisco Ballet.
Really?
Yeah, and she was in the 2000 film Center Stage.
Oh, right. She sure was. That's right. Yeah. I really like her a lot. I think she's a great actress, and Brendan Penny is not bad to look at, and he's a good actor. So
I agree.
He reminds me of Andrew Walker from Three Wise Men and a Baby, and he's in that Marion Bright movie that you love, Jessica. They remind me so much of each other.
Yes.
Like a cross between him and Justin Hartley from This Is Us.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Totally. So this movie was directed by Michael Robinson and written by Barry M. Skolnick. And it was filmed outside of Vancouver in Abbotsford, Canada. And that was very difficult to figure out. And I'll fill you in on some more details about that later on.
Oh, a mystery about our mystery movie.
Yes. So who would like to share their initial thoughts on the movie?
I have a lot to say without giving away the plot line yet, because you're going to discuss that. There were some really big things that would never fly in real life. I'm just going to put that out there. I mean, we come from a family with several police officers in the family, and And even if we didn't, I know that there are things that went on throughout this investigation and this mystery that never would have happened in real life.
Yes, for sure. For sure. I think that what I've come to find, because I've watched all the Aurora Teagarden movies, and I feel that this series might be moving in to kind of take the place of Aurora because she's gone, sadly.
I can see that, yeah.
These movies require a certain suspension of disbelief, right? Because otherwise none of this would happen in real life. There's no way.
Yeah, this is a new mystery series. It looks like it's going to be based off of the title. And I'm interested to see going forward how many murders one family practitioner can really find in a small town. That's concerning if there's a series worth. Maybe they need better police officers, especially since they're breaking so many laws to solve the mystery.
Exactly.
Well, if you haven't watched Aurora Teagarden, she's a librarian who just happens to come across a whole lot of murders because I think there's like 10 of those movies.
I have not ever watched those movies. I've always wanted to. I just never have. I know that after Aurora left, there was another gal that kind of took the place. And I can't remember if she was supposed to be like a niece or a sister or just maybe a new character, but I don't believe it was supposed to be the same character. But she did have red hair.
Yeah, I think it was a prequel. I think they tried to do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they tried to age her down, but I haven't seen them make another one. So who knows? But I guess it hasn't been that long, actually.
Well, and this is kind of a running theme with all their mystery movies. There's the flower shop mysteries. I think there's garage sale mysteries. There's the one with the girl from Days of Our Lives, Allison Sweeney. Is that her name?
Yes.
She owns a bakery and she's always finding dead bodies. And it leads you to think that maybe they should start investigating these women because they're just falling upon these bodies all the time. But it's just funny.
Yeah, hers aren't they the chocolate chip cookie mysteries? Is that what
Yeah,
it's
and the sugar
I think
plums,
so.
something or other. Yeah.
My daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, almost 12-year-old, just started watching those and she loves them. But she's so cute. She's always like, Mom, should I watch this in my room so that my little siblings don't see? It's kind of scary. There's dead people. She loves them.
They're really good. I enjoy them a lot. And I like Allison Sweeney. So
I do too. And I feel like they're not graphic in any way. So a 10, 11, 12-year-old child can watch them. You get the idea of what's going on, but you don't have to see anything gruesome.
Right.
Yeah, they're family-friendly murder mysteries.
Family-friendly murder. Murder for everyone.
For every occasion. Okay, so should we get into the movie recap?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So this movie opens with a very suspenseful scene of two men running frantically around a safe, I think, stealing things. And they grab some stuff and they run out and there's a guard on the floor. And at first I thought he was dead, but I'm assuming that he's not, that they just knocked him out. They never really say the status of the guard.
Family-friendly murder. So I'm going to guess he's not dead. He's sleeping.
Right. Yes. They forcibly made him go to sleep.
Yes.
It was his break time.
It was his break time.
The floor is comfortable.
So after that scene, we move to a mom with her two kids and her dad, and he's cooking breakfast for them. And then we meet her teenage twins and learn that they've been begging their mom for a dog. And the dad is cooking something that is sinful, as the gal describes it. And I don't know what it actually is, but it has ricotta cheese in it and reminds her of Barefoot Contessa. So, you can kind of figure out from there what that might be. I don't know.
Sort of a cheesy frittata.
Yes.
Something.
lasagna.
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever used the word sinful when referring to my father's cooking, but you know,
No,
okay.
or anything other than chocolate, really.
That ricotta cheese is sinful. And I just had to laugh when the teenage son says that his sister is setting the world record in taking showers, because I too did that as a teenager and I continue to do it as an adult. So
Every teenage girl. That's my daughter. Every time I have to knock on the door, it's time to get out. It's been 40 minutes.
Do you know what my mom used to do to me, though? She would take the little key and unlock the bathroom door very quietly with a glass of ice water and dump it over the top of the shower to make me get out of the shower if I had been in there too long.
oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that awful?
That's so very Nana.
That's hilarious. And
But I got
may
out
need
right
to
away.
try that. If Abby calls you and complains about her mom dumping ice cold water on her, I blame you. You can tell her it came from you.
So the next scene reveals that Rachel, the main character, is a doctor at a family practice in town. And she's seeing a patient who is very healthy but wants rushed MRI results because he's concerned about hereditary health issues. Pretty straightforward. You know, we meet this man and we don't know if he's going to make it, guys. We're not sure.
Oh, no, we know. Because as soon as he said, I'm turning 62?
61.
61. I'm turning 61. My father was 61 when he died. That's why he wanted to get all these tests, because he's afraid he's going to end up like his dad. I was like, okay, there it is. He's going to die.
There's our victim.
Let's see when. Here it comes.
But he does not end up being the only victim. So there is a little mystery thrown in there.
That's true.
So after that, we do get a very cute scene where Rachel meets a man named Jack, and they quip back and forth about dog people versus cat people. And that got me wondering, are you guys dog people or cat people? Do you classify yourselves as one or the other?
Yes. I
know Danny's
classify
answer.
myself very heavily as a dog person. I cannot stand cats. I have 3 of them, and they stay away from me because they know I don't like them. My whole family loves cats. I don't. So we have 3. They are very cuddly and sweet, but I just think they're gross. I think cats are gross. I don't think they're cute. They throw up on everything. They scratch up my furniture. I don't find any connection with cats at all. Dogs, on the other hand, we also have 3 dogs. Our most recent addition to the family being a Great Dane puppy who is now 6 months old and still thinks he's a lap dog. So our house is constant chaos, but it's really fun. I love my dogs. Sorry, cats. I could take you or leave you.
Well, for me, I grew up with both dogs and cats. I was always the one bringing home a stray cat, but they lived outside. So they would come in once in a while, but they lived outside. There was no litter box in the house. You still had the hacking up the hairballs, but they were outside cats. And so when I got married, I always wanted a cat. And as you know, your dad is highly allergic to cats. So we've had dogs until your youngest sister brought home a stray cat, and Daddy changed his mind and he could live in the house. And now I'm not so much a cat fan because he's ruined our furniture. Same thing, litter box, hate having litter box in the house, hacking up hairballs all over the place. And then we have these lovely 2 dogs that sleep on our bed with us and snuggle and run around the backyard and play. And so, yeah, I would definitely classify myself as a dog person now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, I've never been a cat person. I don't foresee that changing anytime ever. Except for that one time when we found a stray cat that had been beat up and we really wanted to keep it, and we named it Whitey. And
That's right.
That cat was disgusting.
Awful.
yes, it had seen better days. It had lived on the streets for a while, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was feral, like it had never had a home. It was white and fluffy and pink because it had been injured so many times.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't its tail crooked too? And
Mhm.
Mhm.
it was, and I kept telling you girls, he is nasty. No, can't we keep him? We love him. I don't even remember whatever happened to him, if he just finally wandered off.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, we can keep the litter box in our bedroom. Oh, gross.
No.
So
So
gross.
disgusting.
So gross.
But we
Yeah.
wrote a whole proposal, didn't we?
Mhm.
Trying to convince mom and dad to let us keep the gross cat. Good call saying no, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, good call on telling me I couldn't have a rat because what was I thinking? I don't know.
When
Oh.
did you want a rat?
For a very short fever dream of a time.
That's disgusting.
Just their
Yeah.
tails alone is enough to keep me from wanting a rat in my house.
Yeah.
And I am so afraid of rodents now. Like, no. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Thank you.
horribly, horribly afraid. Rodents and snakes, forget it.
Mm-mm.
I'm done.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like that we all are siding with Rachel on this one. We like dogs better than cats. Sorry, Jack.
Sorry, Jack.
You're out of luck.
I feel like typically in movies, it's portrayed the other way, that the woman is the cat person and the man is the dog person. So it was kind of a fun little mix up.
That's
Yes.
true. Yeah.
And I will say the kittens that he had were very cute.
Oh, sure. They're adorable, but then they get bigger and they're not cute anymore. And they're just gross.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to see Rachel leaving her office, and on her way out the door, she runs into someone having a medical emergency. She arranges transport to the hospital and checks on him there. He has to stay overnight, so she graciously takes his dog home with her, which is a very nice thing to do for a stranger.
And very
Nice.
serendipitous. It was a great way for her kids to have a little tryout with a dog, seeing as they wanted one.
Yes. They've
Nice
been
setup,
dating mom for a dog. Uh-huh.
Yep. I would never take a random stranger's dog home with me personally. But I think because I haven't mentioned this yet, but Rachel was in the army. Well, I guess I mentioned it in the summary. And this person that she's helping was also in the military. So I think there's a connection there and she wants to help support him.
I love my animals. I'm not super excited about taking in other people's animals. We had one dog in particular that kept showing up on our porch. And finally, we were able to get in contact with the owner, and they had no way of getting him home. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing anything right now. I'll just drive him home. He lives 5 minutes down the road. She sent me her address. I go to drop him off, hand him over to the gal, and she just doesn't hold on to him, and he immediately runs off again. And she goes, oh, it's fine. He does this all the time. And I just was like, why did I waste my time? I got home and he was literally on my front porch. I never brought him home again.
So, be a responsible pet owner. Put him in the backyard. If he gets out, it is a big deal. There's roads. There's people that are afraid of animals. Just be responsible. Take care of your pets.
Yeah, the accidental get out happens here and there, but he does this all the time. Like, come on now. Let's
You
do better.
literally didn't even bring him inside. I hand him over to you and you let go. He bolts into the woods.
Wild. Oh. Okay, so we're moving on now. And Rachel is getting concerned about her patient, Ross Alexander. So she decides to stop by his house to deliver his test results because her office has been calling him and he hasn't answered, and she knows that he really wanted these results. So she is a full service doctor and she's just going to show up at his house.
Can I just interject here, though? Because she's going to show up at his house to deliver good news.
Yes.
His test results are all good. It's not like, Ross, we have some really bad news and I need you to get on treatment right away. This is good news. It can wait. I can't even get a doctor appointment for 6 months, and she's going to go to his house and say, okay, you're good, buddy.
Yeah, we noticed you didn't answer the phone. Said no doctor's office ever. It reminds me of Sam in The Good Witch. He is very much the same full service doctor. He
Yes.
is constantly going to people's houses and bringing them tea and all the things. It's just so very sweet. And I do wonder if there are in small towns doctors like that that will stop by your house or, give you a call real quick just to check on you to see how you're feeling after whatever illness or bring you tea. I don't know. Do they exist?
It's a nice thought. I mean, I feel like maybe there used to be before there were so many people in the world, and maybe there are still some small towns that doctors will do that.
No, I think that's more in the realm of like a concierge doctor where they do those things, but you pay for it out the nose,
No
True.
thanks.
you know? So if you are, summering in the Hamptons and you need a concierge doctor for $5,000 a day, sure, go for it. Right?
He will be at your beck and call.
So Rachel just goes into his house because why not? You just go in. And we don't know that they have any kind of relationship outside of him being her patient. So I find it a little weird that she just kind of walks in. But, all right, let's go with that. And he's dead, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. He's no longer living.
Lumped over on his desk.
Yeah, with his glass of wine still full. I mean, what a waste.
Couldn't you have saved let the man finish his wine at least? That's the true crime, honestly.
He didn't get to finish his nightcap. And so we can assume that Rachel calls the police because the next scene is that she's speaking to the coroner, and the coroner is asking her a few questions about finding the body. And then she's informed that an autopsy is not going to be performed because they just are going to guess how he died and just go with that.
That scene drove me nuts because my immediate reaction was there has to be an autopsy. Of course, they would perform an autopsy in a situation like this. You find someone slumped over dead on their desk, someone with very clear, perfect health records that were just done. They absolutely would perform an autopsy. And even if they didn't, somebody would throw a stink about it, and they would.
Exactly. He's just been given this clean bill of health, yet he mysteriously shows up dead. Somebody's going to ask questions. Somebody in the family, a good family, would want to know the reason.
Yeah, for sure. So I did a little down the rabbit hole about autopsies to find out when they're done. So when is an autopsy performed? Don't worry, I didn't see pictures or anything like that.
I was going to say, I'm scared.
No. So according to the Lucas County, Ohio website, which this movie was not filmed in Ohio, but this website was very informative. An autopsy will be performed in cases that result from a homicide, an accident, a suicide, or in cases where the cause of death is not immediately evident, or when the deceased is a young person who dies suddenly. So I think this would be classified as it's not immediately evident, right? We don't know.
Absolutely.
And, this coroner is just willing to say, sure, that sounds good. Unfortunately, listening to as much true crime as I do, I know that this happens a lot where they'll just say, okay, that sounds good, move on. And then it actually turns out that it was a murder. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it seems very odd to me. And autopsies, if you're going to pay for them privately, so if the police department is not going to pay for it, they can cost between $3,000 and $5,000 in the United States.
Wow.
So they're very expensive. But one thing and we'll talk about that there is an autopsy done eventually, but one thing that I think they would find in an autopsy, if they do a good one, is a puncture wound, potentially, from something that may have been utilized to kill him.
Well, I wondered if it was in his wine.
I wondered that, but then she says something later about a syringe.
Oh, I missed
Unless
that.
he just shot it in the
syringe. Like a baster. Nothing to see here. Let me just add this to your drink in a very weird way.
So anyways, yes, but of course, if they had done the autopsy right away, we would not have a movie. So
Right.
We're going to suspend our disbelief and move on here. But Rachel is now going to make it her mission to do something about this. This is now her personal
vendetta. But we're also going to poke fun because
Yes.
that's
Right.
what we do.
Well, not only does she deliver good news door to door, but she also solves murders. So, great doctor to choose if you think you might be murdered. She will help to solve the crime.
She should
Dual
put that on her
purpose.
website. One of the services that she offers. If you
Will
die,
solve murders.
Oh, okay. So Rachel is upset and conflicted about what to do in the next scene as she chats with her dad. And they are peppering in some different personal struggles and character traits in this scene that they don't really address. So that makes me think that they're trying to kind of build out this character, and we're going to see these things addressed in future movies as far as maybe some PTSD, maybe she's not sleeping well, some other things going on with her personally.
that's what I wondered, because I put that in my notes that they reference Rachel's PTSD and nightmares and that she refuses to get help, but then it's not mentioned again for the entire movie. So I thought the same thing. It's probably something they're going to carry into a future movie.
And we know that her husband has passed, that he also was a veteran. But I don't believe that they said exactly what happened to him.
They do.
Oh,
It was I believe she said a black ops raid in Syria that he was not supposed to be part of, but he had to take somebody's place at the last minute.
That's right.
Oh, just like When Calls the Heart.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I still have not started that one, and Abby keeps getting on me to watch it. So I really need to start that one.
it's excellent. It's so good. I'm going to be sad when we get caught up.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to share with you guys is about the location. And I had to do a little another down the rabbit hole because I could not find anywhere where this movie was filmed. But I did notice that several of the scenes were filmed at a place called Aurora Roasters. So I looked up Aurora Roasters, and it is a real life place. It is a coffee shop in Abbotsford, BC. And so even if the whole movie wasn't filmed in Abbotsford, some of it was. And then you can kind of guess it was filmed in the Vancouver area because this is right outside of Vancouver. So
did they choose, I wonder, to use this coffee shop on purpose as like a little nod to Aurora?
Maybe. I didn't even think about that. But
like Aurora's blessing on the new mystery series.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Good
that's
point.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. We're going to go with that. Do you guys want to hear about the coffee shop?
Yes.
Of course. Okay. We love coffee.
Yes, we do. Okay. So it just opened in February of 2023. And it was born out of a deep passion both for people and coffee. Aurora is a small batch roastery based out of Abbotsford, BC. And they have a ton of great stuff on their menu. They have all the normal traditional drinks for coffee and tea and matcha with really beautiful latte art if you want to go peruse their Instagram. But my interest was really piqued by the iced salted caramel latte with house-made caramel sauce.
House-made. You can't beat that.
I know. It sounded so good. And they have tons of treats. But the jam butter biscuits that are baked every morning and served with strawberry or blueberry jam sounded delicious, along with a white chocolate orange scone.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah. And now I want to go there. So
yeah, can we make a trip for research?
I think we should go to Vancouver because there's so many filming locations they've used up there. We'll just make a list.
There are.
We could do a tour.
Yeah, podcast road trip.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So I always think it's fun when they incorporate real businesses in movies instead of creating a fake one. So
yes, I agree.
I liked this. Okay, so next, Rachel's dad is going to arrange an accidental meetup between her and Jack, who is the head of the detectives.
Who would have thought that the Catman would come back and be a main role?
He's not Batman, he's Catman.
Never saw that one coming. So this is when they're in Aurora Roasters, and Rachel's dad introduces them. They're like, oh yeah, we met.
Mhm.
And now they're going to go talk about Ross Alexander's death. And unfortunately, Jack says, sorry, like there is nothing I can do. You have no evidence.
And really, that's where it should have stopped. He
Yeah.
shouldn't have said anything else to her.
Mhm.
Who are you? What are you doing? And unless you have evidence, get out of here.
Right.
Exactly.
Enjoy your coffee.
Yeah.
I have to go do police things.
Yes. If you want to solve a mystery, go watch one of those Mary-Kate and Ashley movies about, a lost piece of mail. And
Or puppy.
Yeah. You can solve some mysteries. So then we're going to see Mr. Alexander, Ross, his family at the funeral home. We've got Leonard, who's his brother, and then Meredith, who is his brother's wife, and Phil Lewis, who is Meredith's brother. And why he's there, not really sure. He doesn't seem to be particularly close with Leonard. And so
No, I thought that was odd.
It's very weird. I don't know, but okay, sure, whatever. So we see them, and Rachel intercepts them to ask about having an autopsy performed. She's like, hey, I'm his doctor, and I think that you should authorize an autopsy right away.
And this was immediately after she had gone and examined the body with permission from the priest from the church.
The funeral director.
The funeral
it's the funeral director. Okay. So
And he's
the
like,
funeral
just
director, yeah, allowed her to go back there and examine the body with no permission from any law enforcement or anything. Just, okay, sure, go do it real quick.
He didn't have to show credentials as a doctor or anything. Yeah, I could walk off the street and just examine a body. Sure. And then he leaves the room and leaves her alone with the body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's not a coroner. She's not a medical examiner. And she keeps using the excuse of, we saw a lot of this kind of thing in Afghanistan. But I'm like, did you, this exact thing? Did you, I don't know.
You saw people being poisoned in Afghanistan and dying on their desk?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a war zone.
Not even close.
Very odd. But granted, I've never been in the military, so I cannot speak from experience, but it just seemed like she kept saying that, and I just kept thinking, have you? Is that really true? If he had been shot or something, okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If he'd been in a serious accident where his body was really affected, sure. But this just seems kind of odd.
Yeah, she said she was a trauma surgeon, right?
Yeah.
This isn't that.
No, it's not. No. So Phil, who's Meredith's brother, goes up to Rachel and says, you better keep your nose out of our family's business. And right in that moment, you kind of know where this movie's headed.
This is the moment where I wrote down in my notes, it's the sister-in-law and her brother.
Yes. And I didn't trust either one of them from that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that they could have easily accomplished what they accomplished and cut out that line. I don't think it was needed. I don't think he needed to threaten her.
No.
I think it tips it off too early.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think this guy's an idiot as well. So let's add that in there.
He seems like the moocher brother, his sister married somebody rich and he's just there to cash in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Sounds great as long as you're going to pay me. So Rachel talks to Mr. Alexander's coworker or employee. They didn't really explain exactly what he does, but his name is Avery Smith. And apparently Ross was rich because he owns a bunch of successful newspapers, which I'm like, what?
No, newspapers are a dying institution.
That's not real.
They live in a land where doctors still make house calls and people still read the newspaper. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's like saying, oh yeah, he owns a bunch of successful shoe repair shops. Like, okay, what?
Great.
I mean, that Hallmark, there's an idea for you, because maybe that could
the
be like
shoe repair mysteries
or shoe polish mysteries.
There could be elves. There could be little shoe elves that come and repair the shoes in the night.
Death
Only
in
one of
Cobbler
them
Town.
ends up dead.
The mystery of the Keebler elves.
The Cobbler Elves.
Hey, that's how you bring it to Christmas.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
He
True.
drowned in a mug of hot cocoa.
So they find some more clues, and that includes a threatening letter from a nursing home owner who apparently Ross was writing some kind of scathing expose about him, which is believable because unfortunately
Absolutely.
there are a lot of nursing homes that do a good job and there are a lot that do a very terrible job.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's definitely believable. Is it believable that Avery Smith was willing to share all of this research and stuff with a random doctor? No, I don't
No.
understand any of that.
And that's what I noticed. People are very forthcoming with information. She goes to talk with his accountant at some point, and he says, I really can't divulge that kind of information, and then proceeds to divulge all kinds of information, which again, that's client privilege. You can't just spew off this information to some rando doctor that stops by.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a scene where she goes and meets with the family. She's sitting there, I would consider it questioning them. And I'm thinking the whole time, don't they think it's weird that there's a random doctor questioning them? There's no police officer there. There's no, like, she has no authority. And yet they're just sitting there answering her questions as if she's a detective.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would be like, why are you here? Go away.
Who are you?
I would be going to Detective Jack and saying, hey, can you get this doctor
Yeah.
under control?
This
'Cause
lady-
Right. This is highly
stalking us.
inappropriate.
yeah, she's overstepping here a bit.
Mhm.
Okay, so next we're going to see Rachel's daughter get invited to join the cheer squad by the snottiest group of girls that make me want to vomit. And they are
I hate this because
Yes.
I feel like in every movie that's ever been made, the cheerleaders are always so mean. And
Mhm.
let me tell you, I have never met a nicer group of people than cheerleaders. Never.
And I feel the same way because first off, they didn't call it the cheer squad. Do you want to come and join the cheerleaders? And it made it sound like this exclusive club. And they all had a sweatshirt on that said cheer. And like they all dressed together in the same way every day. And really felt like it perpetuates the stereotype that all cheerleaders are snotty little you know whats.
Mhm.
And I felt like this part of the storyline really wasn't necessary.
Yeah, and there I will tell you that I don't talk about it again in the rest of our recap because I don't want to.
Yeah, the only thing I liked about it was that it kind of solidified that bond between brother and sister and showed that she was willing to stand up for her brother and that they're really close. And I thought that was really sweet. But I felt like they could have done it in a different way because just because you're a cheerleader doesn't mean you're mean. I didn't like that.
Yep. And they were so mean to her brother. They were just acted like, oh, we don't have a coach and you don't have to be good. We're just
Yeah, let us
inviting
just
you.
teach you a few things real quick.
Yeah, while we're
Like, what?
standing right here, like what?
In the cafeteria. What about tryouts?
Yeah. A spot just opened up because we don't like this girl anymore, so we
Yeah.
kicked her out.
Yeah. Rude.
And-
Who wants to be a part of that?
Yeah, seriously. Well, she doesn't. So we find out later that the daughter does not want to be part of this.
No.
But did it bother anybody else as much as it bothered me that throughout the movie they kept referring to it as trying out for cheerleaders? Like what?
Yes. Not the squad, not the team. It's
Grammar is not
No.
important. We're solving a murder mystery here.
Did you know your sister's trying out for cheerleaders? Like, what? Are you trying out for footballers? What does this even mean? I don't understand. And we should mention all three of us were high school cheerleaders, so we probably have a little more to say about this than most
Yes,
people
that's
would.
That's true.
And I will say, way back in the dark ages when I was a cheerleader, we didn't have a coach either. We had the business machines teacher was our advisor, but she didn't even come to camp with us. So we ran the squad ourselves, but we never behaved in such a fashion.
What are business machines?
Oh, well, the 10 key and calculators.
Oh,
It was a whole class. This is before computers, folks.
Business machine.
Yeah, it was a whole semester learning
this
how to
is a
Oh.
business machine.
credit card machines.
This is a new series, The Business Machine Murder Mystery.
See, you learned something new today.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you for that. My life is more full knowing about business machine.
It is good to know, though, that I mean, I don't know this for sure. Obviously, I haven't been in every high school in America, but I don't think that there are any sports or activities that are allowed to take place without a supervising adult
Yes.
on a school campus any
anymore.
longer. But these girls don't seem to have anybody like that. So,
And they
No,
need
they are
someone.
feral
Yeah.
cheerleaders just running wild.
yes, yes. Okay, so Jack and Rachel show up at the funeral of Mr. Alexander, which, okay, to notify the family that they're going to do an autopsy. And
this would be the most appropriate place to make that announcement.
yes,
Oh, for sure.
so they come in, they make the announcement. The family is mad, which, okay, yeah, sure. I would be probably mad too that you're doing this right now. And then they just say, we'll be in touch, and they leave.
So couldn't you have been in touch a little bit later?
Wouldn't that have been a phone call, an email,
I thought,
anything but that?
yeah, I thought they were going to take the body with them that
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
but they didn't. So I'm like, what are you doing here? What? Oh my gosh. It's so weird.
We're sorry for your loss. We're taking the body.
Also, it seems they paint Mr. Ross Alexander as like a well-respected, well-liked human being. There's nobody at his funeral. So what?
Yes. And it took like a couple days for his doctor to find his body. So, like, where are his friends?
Yes, seriously. Oh, and yeah, wouldn't Rachel be invited to the funeral? Is that how Jack knew when it was that he was like, hey, I'm going to tip you off. There's a funeral going on. Let's go crash it.
But also, like, who invites their doctor to their funeral?
Well,
Although I guess you're not inviting anyone if you're dead.
okay, so the next few scenes can be summarized by just this one sentence. Keep asking questions, Rachel. And that's the good advice that she gets from Avery Smith, and she's going to take it, and she's going to keep doing just that. So we get a flirty dinner scene between Rachel and Jack until they're interrupted by the coroner calling Rachel.
Not the police officer.
No.
No. The doctor.
Yeah. The coroner calls the doctor. And this is after 5 p.m., which I found very weird because we know that government employees do not work past 5 p.m., but all right. And this is also the same day that she had given her this list of stuff.
She worked quickly.
Yeah, very fast. She'd given her this list of poisons to look for or toxins.
Didn't have to wait for any lab work to come back.
No, she just knew. It was immediate.
Magic.
So the coroner's calling to tell them that Mr. Alexander was likely poisoned by succinylcholine, which was taken in the scene at the beginning of the movie. That's what was stolen.
Oh my gosh. Jaw on the floor. I am shocked.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's going to be shocking is if anybody ever looks at my search history on my computer, because I looked up autopsies, I looked up that succinylcholine. So for all these movies, we do our research and we're looking at the most random things. People would think, what was wrong with her?
So did you find out if succinylcholine can actually kill somebody?
You know, I didn't. It's a paralytic used. Where did I put that? I wrote that down. A paralytic drug used in surgery. So maybe if you have too much of it.
High doses.
Yeah.
So it does actually exist.
Yes.
It does. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Anybody want to try to spell it?
No.
Yeah, because I wrote it down. SUCCINYLCHOLINE. Unless I typed it wrong.
Nope. That's what I have too.
Okay.
I guessed first, and it was very wrong the way that I spelled it. And apparently it's used enough that Google Docs was like, here's the real spelling for this.
Yes, Google was able to figure it out for me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I should know because I watch every movie with subtitles. So I remember seeing it on the screen, but could not repeat it back to you. No way.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna need this word in our
Gosh, I
future,
hope
but-
not.
I hope not. And what's funny to me, and again, suspend your disbelief, but when they find out that this is the cause of death, Rachel's the one that informs the family, not the police.
Mhm. She looks right at Jack.
Jack is the detective.
Yes, thank you. She looks right at Jack and she has this smile on her face and she goes, Ross Alexander was murdered. Like, ha ha ha, I was right. Why is she smiling? Someone was
Yeah.
murdered and she looks like she wants to throw a party.
Like she just won a contest or something.
Yeah. I was right. I told you.
Oh gosh. So now we're gonna find out that Ross Alexander had a son who he just met, and then we discover that he's dead too. So
Mhm.
But
uh-oh.
how did we find this out? We found this out because Jack had looked through Ross's personal computer, couldn't find anything. So Rachel's, because she's a detective now, can I take a look? And he's like, sure. This
Why
isn't police
not?
evidence or anything. And she finds out, I don't know where, Facebook or something, that he has this son. But again, this would never happen. The police would not turn over evidence to your doctor so that you can do your own detective work.
No,
She's sitting in on witness interviews. She's sitting in on suspect interviews.
it can't leave evidence lockup. Like that's gonna do anything. No, once she's
Right.
touched it, it's tarnished. Then you
Yeah.
can't use it anymore.
Inadmissible in court.
Yes. They have forensics teams that will do everything, pull
Right.
everything off the computer. Like what she has special tech training where she can pull things off the computer.
I mean,
She's
it would have been one
multi-talented.
thing
Yeah.
if it was her teenage daughter that found it on social media,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's more likely.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
So the other thing that she keeps doing is looping the family members in on everything that they're finding out. And these people have not been cleared. It's it's uneducated, right? Which is what you would expect from somebody who's not a police officer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
At this point, everyone's a suspect.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody has been cleared as a suspect and nobody's really been fully interrogated. And she's
And
just
why
like,
isn't she being interrogated? Honestly, she's
Yeah.
the one that found the body.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. She would be a suspect that they would need to clear
Mhm.
first. Yeah, absolutely. They clear every single person in their life first. So in the next few scenes, we find that Phil, Meredith's brother, was part of the robbery scene at the beginning of the movie and that they stole the succinylcholine. And Phil denies having any part of the robbery, but we know better. We're pretty sure that he did it, right?
Mhm.
He already threatened Rachel, and once you do that, you're kind of like implicating yourself.
Suspect number one.
Yes. So Rachel decides that it's a great idea to go meet someone in a parking garage alone at night after she gets a random text message from Lynn, who is that?
I literally wrote on my notes, who's Lynn?
Yeah, I backed it up so I could hear it again because I'm like, did she say Leonard? No, she said Lynn.
Was
Who's
that
Lynn?
is
Lynn
that
her
Leonard's wife? Is her
No,
name
that's
Lynn?
Meredith?
Meredith.
Oh yeah, that's Meredith. Yeah, I have no idea. Who's Lynn?
Is Lynn her assistant at the doctor's office? Maybe. I don't
The
remember
one
her
that
name.
sits on stools and meditates in the middle of the workday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, her. Maybe it was Lynn because she sounds like the kind of person that would want to meet you in the middle of the night at a parking garage.
Yeah. So Rachel thinks, okay, this is a good plan. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call Jack first and leave him a voicemail because he doesn't answer. And then I'm just going to go by myself with no protection. And she gets shot at. And it's not good, guys.
No.
I don't go to a parking garage alone at night, even when a murderer is not on the loose. But
Exactly.
she knows a murderer is on the loose. And she's just, what?
And that she's messing around in it. She's
Yeah.
likely going to be the next victim.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, after this, she gets shot at. She's fine. She's safe. She runs into the building. She sets the alarm off. Whoever's shooting at her takes off. So Jack decides that he's going to call Meredith and Leonard in for an interview where he accuses them flat out of poisoning Ross Alexander, and nothing comes from that. They deny it, and they say, is this all you have? Can we go? And he has to let them go because they're not under arrest. He has no hard evidence.
Which is probably the most realistic scene as far as police work goes.
Yes.
That we've seen so far.
Yeah, they've got no concrete evidence. There's no reason to keep them.
Yeah. So now Rachel's going to show up at Leonard and Meredith's house, and I don't know why she's going over there. I'm not really sure. They've been interviewed by Jack. He lets them go. She decides, I'm going to go interview them myself. I'm not sure why she's there.
There surely is something that Jack has missed. So
right.
Being the superior detective that I am, I'm going to go handle business.
Yeah. So she gets there and she discovers that plateless SUV that was being driven by her shooter in the garage, and the garage doors are open. So this guy is a real
an idiot.
Dummy.
And then she proceeds to go in.
Well, she calls Jack first to tell him. He doesn't answer again. She leaves a voicemail and she gets attacked. And
right.
House.
Okay.
And we discover that it's Phil. Wow. Shocker.
Big surprise.
Wow. Turn of events.
That dragged her.
And poor Leonard had no idea.
No clue.
No clue.
Why?
You murdered my brother?
Why would you do it?
We're broke. We have no money.
So you murdered my brother?
Yeah. So we see that Meredith killed Ross with the help of her brother, and Leonard had absolutely no clue. And she's threatening Rachel with a gun, and a violent struggle ensues until Jack comes to the rescue, enters the scene with a bunch of backup police officers, and we've solved the murder.
Yes.
But none of them at this point know that Leonard has nothing to do with it. And they're just letting him stand there scratching his head.
Yeah, they're not arresting him.
No.
He would 100% get arrested. 100%.
Yes. Until they figured out what the heck was going on. Yes.
Yeah. Because he could just be a good actor who's just like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
You didn't do this? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and go.
Yeah, you're fine. What? No. So we see Meredith and Phil, they get arrested, and we can assume that they'll be spending a long time in prison, but we never see them again. So we really don't know what happens after this. Maybe there'll be a follow-up with a trial, but probably not.
Unlikely.
And Rachel says she thinks she's done with solving murders, and I think, no, she's not.
She's not.
I don't
She's
believe
not
her.
done.
Not for a second.
No. And you know that there's going to be more movies because her and Jack never fell in love. It seems like they might, but there was no kiss. There was no happy ending for their love relationship. So
that's true. You could see it developing, but we need to see more. So yeah, there'll definitely be more movies.
And this is the trope I've found of the mystery franchises. It's the will they, won't they kind of back and forth in every movie. I think it takes 8 or 9 movies for Aurora to finally get married to the love interest. So it's that back and forth Ross and Rachel type of situation.
Ross and Rachel. There's a Ross and Rachel in this movie.
Oh yeah, there is.
Oh gosh.
They're not together.
No, I don't think they're getting married.
Ross
it ended badly for Ross.
So the closing scene is a family dinner, including Jack. Jack has been invited to family dinner where Rachel's dad, Rick, I think this is the first time we find out what his name is. It's Rick. He's making chicken parm, which sounded delicious.
He really likes his Barefoot Contessa recipes.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. Maybe we should find the Barefoot Contessa chicken parm and share that in our stories. Maybe we should make it.
We should try it.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. The kids get the puppy they've been asking for, and that's the end.
Okay, but she just brings home a puppy and she tells them what his name is.
Yeah.
Sure, nice surprise, but isn't it more fun to let your kids pick out the dog or at least pick out the dog's name?
Well, I'm going to go with he was a rescue dog and he already had a name.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case.
Yeah, he came from the rescue that Jack I don't know, Jack seemed to know about the rescue, so maybe he volunteers there or something. They didn't really say, but he
Well, he
seems
got those kittens from the rescue.
right. But she says something about getting them from the rescue, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure they're really happy that you have the dog," or something like that. But yeah, typically dogs that come from a rescue, I think, have a name, but you could always change it, right? Because
That's true.
that dog is a puppy, probably
Mhm.
doesn't know his name yet or her name.
Yeah, when we got our first rescue, he had a name for 6 hours. So we promptly changed it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that movie, and I definitely smell a sequel. I think if people watch this film, which I think they will definitely be making another one. What do you guys
I
think?
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
think
think they
so.
definitely will make more. And I really like Amanda Scholl. I think she does a great job. As many plot holes as there are, I really like her as an actress. I think she played the role really well. And she was believable, even though what she was doing wasn't.
True. Yeah, I think she's really engaging as an actress, and she didn't play it like I know better than you. She just played it because she was curious. She wanted to solve this mystery because she didn't believe that it was natural causes, but she didn't ever play it like, well, you don't know what you're doing, and so I'm taking over kind of a thing. And I really
Mhm.
appreciated that.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
And I
And
appreciate that I noticed these small little details. She wore the same coat throughout the whole movie, except for the last scene. She was wearing a different jacket. And I like that because there's so many movies where they're going away for one weekend. And in every scene, they've got a different, like bulky winter coat. How many winter coats do you need to pack for a weekend trip? So
And how do you fit them all?
yes,
exactly.
Where did
Yeah,
they go? Did you buy them when you got there?
yeah, coats are expensive, man.
they are
I've
expensive.
had the same coat for the last like 10 years.
Yep. One pea coat and then one coat for playing out in the snow.
Hmm.
And I will mention that if you have not seen the movie yet, I did leave out a bit of the side storyline. So you didn't hear everything that happened in the movie if you haven't seen it yet. So there are still some side stories with characters that I think are probably going to be developed more in the future
Mhm.
that you can check out and go, watch the movie and get that full picture of what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I do have a few behind the scenes details, and then we're going to play a little game before we rate the movie.
Sounds good.
So I watched the replay of the Facebook Live interview that the two main actors did together, and they revealed a few fun things. So first of all, they both seem really funny and like they have a great rapport together. So I don't know they must test for chemistry when they are casting, but I feel like Hallmark, especially in these mystery movies, does a really good job at pairing couples together.
Hmm.
I agree.
And yeah, I think they have great chemistry, great rapport, and I think they're gonna continue to do a good job together. Brendan, if you have not seen the video, is sitting in front of a window, and there's like these beautiful orange autumn leaves like just blowing around in the background, and it's so pretty. So it's worth the watch just for that.
Just for the view of the leaves and the man.
Yes. And their inside nickname for Jack's character is Detective Kittens.
Oh, that's cute.
Not Catman?
No,
Not Catman.
Detective Catman. And they really speak super highly and kindly of one another and really seem like they had fun. They had fun throughout the whole interview, and it seemed like they were looking forward to continuing to work together. So I loved that.
Awesome.
Aside from that, they didn't really give too much information because it was before the movie came out, so they really couldn't reveal anything. Yeah. But they did play a game, and I've warned you guys that this is not the best game in the world, but because they played it, we're going to play it too. Okay?
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm going to give you 3 clues, and you need to tell me who this character is, what their name is in the movie.
From the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I am one of Dr. Hunt's patients. I have an adorable
He dead?
dog. No. And I used to serve in the U.S. Army.
Oh, I don't
He's
know his
got a
name.
name. I don't know his name.
But the guy that had the diverticulitis.
Yep.
The guy that dropped on the sidewalk. What was
Yes.
his name?
David Cooper.
David Cooper. She babysat
Okay.
his dog while he was in the hospital.
Yes. And we did not go into great detail with his storyline. So that's one that you can catch if you watch the film. But
He was one of my favorite characters. I really
I liked him a lot. I just didn't
Yeah.
know his name. Sorry, David.
And he was in Descendants, which my kids and I love. So I
Who
don't
did
know.
he play?
I am not sure. So now I'm curious to go back and watch it.
Yeah, interesting.
He was, oh wait, I take that back. He was a coach of some kind. One of the sports
Oh, like a
teams, maybe?
football coach?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Now I have to go back and watch.
cool.
Okay, so now we're down to rating time. It's time to rate the movie. So
Okay.
we're going to use vials of succinylcholine to rate
Okay.
the movie on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means we hated the movie, and 5 means it was the best movie we've ever seen. So somewhere in there. Who would like to go
Okay.
first?
I'll go.
I'll go.
Oh, go ahead. Danny, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to give it 2.5 vials of succinylcholine. I liked the movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I thought the acting was excellent. I really enjoyed the characters. I thought they were fun and engaging, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next and where their storylines are going to go. There was just so much that was so unbelievable. And I am just a sucker for that Hallmark romance. And this didn't really have a whole lot of that, which it can be expected in, a murder mystery movie. It's more about solving the crime. But I just am so partial to that really cheesy, sweet, romantic, happy ending kind of movie that it wasn't probably one that I would watch again, but it wasn't bad.
2.5.
Yeah. I'm going to go right down the middle with 3. I agree with the unbelievable story development as far as the doctor coming in and getting all this privileged information. Although if she didn't, we wouldn't have a story. I really liked her and Jack together. And though they didn't have a romance, you could see something developing. There was that little flirtation there. And so it leaves the door open for something more in the future. I too probably wouldn't watch it again, but I would definitely watch the next one in the series. So 3 vials or syringes of succinylcholine for me.
Okay.
How about you, Jess?
I am going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Wow.
I watched this movie 3 times to prepare for this podcast. I will likely not watch it again, but I really enjoyed it. I, obviously had to go into it with the idea that, yes, of course, this would never happen in real life. But, Cinderella would never happen in real life either. So I
there
really,
are mean stepmothers out there.
well, yeah. Is there
And fairy godmothers,
Yeah, they're real.
obviously.
Of course.
Talking animals. Okay.
Yeah. So I liked the story. I liked all the characters. There wasn't an actor or actress that I thought did a bad job. There were characters that I didn't like, obviously, but that's because they were just bad people.
Murderers.
Yes. And I think that it made me want to watch the next one. So I think that because I've watched some of the mystery series before, I know that a romance is impending. It's just going to be a slow burn. So I'm looking forward to another one. I hope that they make them because sometimes they try these movies and they don't get the viewership they need and then they don't make any more. So
I wonder too if I'm just noticing that like your rating is higher, mom's rating is a little higher than mine. You guys both really enjoy true crime and all of the things that entails, the podcast, the docuseries, all of that. And I'm not really a true crime girl. It freaks me out. So I wonder if maybe that's part of why I didn't enjoy it as much, is because I just really like the happy, joyful,
Everyone gets their happy ending.
Yes, that is my jam. But you guys love true crime. And so I can see how that would make your rating a little bit higher because it was probably a little bit more enjoyable.
Okay, so next week we will have a mini-sode. We're going to change things up with our new season, and we're going to round up our favorite made-for-TV holiday movies of all time. And I'm excited for that one. It should be fun.
And that was a hard one for me because I don't know that my picks were my favorites of all time because I have so many favorites. So they're right up there among dozens of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I could probably do a top 10 easily.
Absolutely.
And maybe we will.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. The ones that I picked are ones that just like first popped into my head and I have watched again and again, and I will continue to watch again and again. But there are so many that fall into that same category.
Yeah.
So whether you're trying out for cheerleaders
Or playing detective when you have no business doing so.
We hope you don't have a family that takes you out for the money. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Love on the Pod and share your episode thoughts or ideas by emailing us at loveonthepod@gmail.com. Plus, you can text us with future movie recommendations using the link in the show notes. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining us. Bye.
Bye.